arguments. Governor Ducey today, as we mentioned, emphasized that his executive orders regarding the coronavirus are informed by data and medical information and that public health remains a top concern. But the governor's orders closing certain businesses have prompted some of those businesses to rebel, including a cafe in Wickenburg that's reopened for in-person dining in violation of the orders as they stand. Earlier today, we spoke with attorney Anthony Ramirez, who is representing the cafe.
Anthony, thank you so much for joining us. Good to have you here. The Horseshoe Cafe in Wickenburg, is it open right now for dining in?
It is open at this time.
Okay, open all weekend, correct?
It was open all weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Did law enforcement try to stop the establishment from serving customers inside?
They did not. On Friday, when I got involved in the case, I wasn't there when she received the first initial copy of the order. Law enforcement showed up, delivered a copy of the order at about 8:30 in the morning. I received a phone call late morning. I showed up there early afternoon. Spoke to a local news channel there with Mrs. Thompson and another business owner there next door, and showed back up on Saturday. Now, interestingly, on Friday, we did go on the news and said that we'd be defending them if they're charged. We would also be investigating and researching the viability of a civil rights claim. On Saturday, a sergeant of the Wickenburg Police Department did show back up and did not go to the business owner's store that they owned, the Trader Joe's store, and they did not go to the Horseshoe. What they did was they went to the coffee shop in between both of those establishments, delivered a copy of the order, and then left. They never said anything to Mrs. Thompson or the other business owner.
So the cafe has not been cited as yet?
No, to my knowledge, no. They have not been cited. They've only received a copy of the order on Friday.
And if cited, you plan to argue unreasonable seizure. Talk to us about that.
So obviously, if a citation does carry the same effect of an arrest. Okay, so if she's criminally cited, charged with a Class 1 misdemeanor, we have offered to defend her on that Class 1 misdemeanor. Now, you and I have spoken before on previous cases, some excessive force cases that I have against some local municipalities when police officers use excessive force. Now, that is we're arguing that those are unreasonable seizures. Now, in this case, if you are criminalizing otherwise legal behavior by simply opening your doors and issuing a criminal citation, it's our position that is also an unreasonable seizure and would bring a claim under the same statute that we use when we're bringing an excessive force claim.
Does that basically mean that the governor's executive order in this case is toothless?
I think that, obviously an executive order does carry the force of law. Throughout this entire ordeal, I've never advocated that anybody disobey the law. But I do practice criminal defense as well as personal injury, and so I have offered to help people. It does carry the force of law. However, it's being applied in a vague and overbroad manner. For example, Costco, Target, you pick the retailer that is open for business right now. They're doing business, and small business owners like Mrs. Thompson and the businesses that are next door to her are being strangled.
The bigger businesses that are open right now, they're practicing physical distancing and these sorts of things. Is the Horseshoe Cafe, has she separated tables? Has she done anything to try to keep this virus from spreading inside the restaurant?
That's an interesting question. So she did ask patrons to practice social distancing. They are offering masks at the door. And this was on Saturday. I went there. I had breakfast there. I had biscuits and gravy, which was fantastic, by the way. But she is offering those things to patrons, but I didn't observe anybody taking her up on that offer.
So I guess my question, I think a lot of people are asking is, does she understand that the governor made the order for a particular reason? Does she understand that asymptomatic people can spread the virus, and that's why the order was called? Does she understand the health ramifications of what she's doing?
Here's what the way her perspective and my perspective is that when this order was initially put in place, it was to flatten the curve. It was to otherwise allow healthcare to catch up, to allow hospitals to prepare, to increase the number of beds, to increase the number of ventilators. And businesses across Arizona, to their credit, including Mrs. Thompson, complied to their detriment. And now, in Arizona, I would argue that the curve has always been relatively flat. We never saw a large spike. In fact, yesterday we had approximately 8,600 confirmed cases and about approximately 350 deaths. That number is very, very it's very uneven. And so, to my point is that the Governor Ducey, when he extended the order, he moved the goalpost. These businesses have complied, it's flat, and these businesses are being strangled to death. So they're doing what they need to do to survive now.
And last question, be that as it may, he did extend the order, and critics are saying that her message now seems to be, I disagree with the order and I'm going to ignore it. How do you respond to that?
I think that there are thousands of business owners here in Arizona that feel the same way. I think that, I'm not going to judge people on their politics. People can certainly practice social distancing if they want to. I know, because I've spoken to hundreds of them over the last 3 days. I was involved not only up there in Wickenburg, but down at this rally yesterday. And I can tell you that, these numbers that are out there now, and all you have to do is go to cdc.gov to take a look at it. They are no different than the flu. And I can tell you that from my perspective, I'm practicing the same type of social distancing and care with my own family that I do during flu season. And I think that that's what the position is. People have done what they need to do to help flatten the curve. The virus is real. Nobody's denying it. I don't think that Mrs. Thompson's denying it. She was providing masks and other things for people to take care of themselves. The thing is that, depending on which way you fall, and I'm not extending judgment on either side, I'm just saying that, Arizona business owners are losing their businesses, things that they've saved up their entire life for, things that they've worked on their entire life. And the numbers that we're seeing as far as, positive coronavirus cases and the mortality rate do not justify businesses being shut down forever.
All right. Anthony Ramirez, good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.